Hi everyone, this is Mr. Wu. In this week's lesson, we will be practicing different ways to participate in a group discussion. Remember, the DSE speaking exam has two parts. In paper 4, you have part A and part B. Part A is the group discussion. You will have 10 minutes to prepare. That's when you have to produce or to make a organized note card to use in your discussion. And then if you are in a group of 4 students, then you will discuss for 8 minutes. If you are in a group of only 3 students, then you will discuss for 6 minutes. So that is part A. After part A, we will go to part B, which is an individual response, or IR. The examiner or the teacher will ask you a question. You will have 1 minute to give an answer. You have 1 minute to respond. You have 1 minute to make your presentation. There is no preparation time. So you really have to practice this so that you can give an organized and thoughtful answer. Okay, so this is a bit of a reminder of the DSE speaking exam. Now, let's prepare some ideas and a note card for your group discussions. By the end of your 10-minute preparation, you should have these things ready. Last in the lesson, I gave you a table like this and asked you to put in the information, to organize the information about the selfie gadgets so that you can refer to them, so that you can look at this information in your group discussion. So let's go over some answers first. First, you have to remember what the purpose of the group discussion is. And that is the reason why you're having a group discussion. All the ideas that you will be talking about should be about this purpose, should relate to this purpose. If you remember, you're supposed to give a talk. In the talk, you were supposed to recommend gadgets for taking better selfies, for taking good selfies. So the purpose of this group discussion is to give a talk about recommending gadgets for taking better selfies. Now, in the article in the paper 4, they talked about 4 gadgets. And each gadget has some advantages, pros, or some disadvantages, cons. All right, so let's see what the article said about these gadgets. The first gadget is a selfie shutter. What are the advantages of the selfie shutter? First of all, it's hands-free. That means that you don't have to hold it when you take selfies, when you take photos. It's designed in Hong Kong, so you may want to consider that, think about buying that to support Hong Kong designs. It makes use of remote Bluetooth, okay? Because you don't have to hold it, then you have to have some way to connect the gadget to your camera or to your computer. And this selfie shutter makes use of Bluetooth. And then another advantage is that it is small and easy to carry. It's not a big machine. You can easily put in your pocket or in your book bag. Okay, small and easy to carry. So these are the good things about the selfie shutter. What about the bad things, the negative things, the disadvantage, the con? It is a bit expensive. It does cost $300 to buy it. And yes, you don't have to use your hand to hold the selfie shutter when you take photos, but you have to put it on something. You have to put it on a stand so that the camera can take your picture. So that's disadvantages. Next, we have the Selfie iOS. The advantage is that it only costs $8, not expensive at all. And it has a timer, so you can tell the camera to take a picture in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute. There's a timer. And it also has built-in effects editor. So you can change the color, you can add a frame, you can add graphics designs, you can design your photographs after you have taken them. So these are the advantages. Disadvantage, you can only use it if you're using Apple gadgets, Apple devices like iPhones and iPads. If you are using an Android gadget or an Android operation system, then you have to use the UCam UCam program to take photographs. All right, so not every camera, okay, or cell phone can use this program. Next, we have the selfie stick. Its advantage is that it allows you to take in more view. It allows you to take in more of your background. You can photograph more of your background because you can make your camera further away. You can make the camera 93 centimeters away because the selfie stick is 93 centimeters long. You can use it with the iOS Apple gadgets as well as UCam, the Android gadgets. Okay, so you can use with any kind of cameras or cell phones. And it's very portable. Okay, just like the selfie shutter, it's easy to carry around. That's why it's very portable. Disadvantage? It does cost $350, so that might be a bit expensive for a student or for you. And it is only a stick. It's not a camera, it's not a cell phone, it's not a computer program, it's just a stick. $350 for a stick? I don't know about that. And finally, we have the N1 Mini. Okay, the N1 Mini has a rotating camera. It's a camera that you can turn and goes around in circle. Okay, it's a rotating camera. It also has a beautified mode. All right, so if you want to have better skin, bigger eyes, taller nose, this the N1 Mini will allow you to do that. Okay, so it's like another editing effect. Disadvantage, it is a smartphone. So maybe you need maybe you don't need another smartphone. Maybe you don't want to have another smartphone to take photos for taking selfies. And it does cost 4,000 Hong Kong dollars. So that's even more money, it's more expensive than the other gadgets. So these are the information that we learned from the article in the paper 4. So the next thing you have to decide is which one do you want to recommend to the students? Which one do you want to recommend in your talk? For example, maybe you want to recommend a selfie shutter because you think that it is the most affordable, the most practical, and it's best allow you to take better selfies. So in the recommendation column, you make a decision about which one you want to recommend. And then finally, you want to write down some vocabulary words that you can use in your group discussion. Words like gadget, selfie shutter, selfie iOS, selfie stick, N1, M1, they're M1 mini, they are all gadgets, so that would be a good one to use. Okay, portable is a good word to use for something that is easy to carry around. And bonus is something that is extra, right? As an added advantage, an extra advantage. Okay. Features are the things that a gadget can do. Okay. For example, built-in effects editor, that's a feature. A rotating camera, that's a feature, right? The special things about a gadget. And then you are giving a talk to recommend gadgets, so the word recommend would be good to use. So write down a few words or expressions that you think will be useful to you, helpful to you in your group discussions. So at the end of the 10-minute preparation, your note card should look something like this. A useful note card should look something like this. Okay, now that your note card is ready and organized, we can go in and our group discussion. And in this part of the lesson, I will show you different ways to discuss and interact in groups. The first thing that you can do is to start the discussion. There are three things that you need to do. You need to greet and welcome everybody. You do that by saying, "Thank you all for coming. Let's start." Okay, this is just an example. You can say different things, but remember to do it. And then you want to make the topic and the purpose of your discussion clear. So you can say, "We have to give a talk about gadgets for taking good selfies." Okay, and before you finish, ask for ideas. Ask other group members to give their ideas. Does anyone have a gadget to recommend? Right, so you can do this to start. You can say these things to start the group discussion. You can also give your own ideas or suggest ideas, but make sure that you also give explanations of your ideas. All right, the first thing you do is to make your idea clear. I think we should recommend the selfie shutter. So here, you clearly are recommending the selfie shutter. You are talking about the selfie shutter. So describe it a little bit and explain why you recommend it. I like this gadget because it is hands-free. You don't have to hold because it uses Bluetooth. And then before you finish, ask others to respond to your idea so that you can keep the discussion going. Do you think the students will like the selfie gadget, the selfie shutter? Do you think the students will like the selfie shutter? Right, so that's how you should suggest your ideas with explanations. And then you have given an idea and you can agree or disagree. Okay, when you do that, make sure that you give a reason. You explain why you agree or why you disagree. So you start by making clear which idea you are agreeing with. Okay, for example, I think so. The selfie shutter seems practical. So you are agreeing that the selfie shutter is a good recommendation. So explain why you think that a little bit. When I take selfies, I often have difficulty getting a good angle because I have to hold the camera. Okay, so that explains why you think it's a good idea. The selfie shutter is a good idea. And again, before you finish, ask others to respond so that you can keep the discussion going. Is it expensive? Because you want to know if the selfie shutter is expensive, is affordable. What if you disagree? Okay, you can do that, but make sure that you give reasons. You make it clear what the idea that you are disagreeing with, okay, and then you explain why, and then you ask others to respond. I'm not sure the selfie shutter is a good recommendation. Although you don't have to hold it, you still need a stand when you take photos. It also costs $300. Okay, so you have two reasons here. And ask others to respond. Don't you think it is too expensive for the students? Okay, then somebody else has to respond to your question, and you will continue the group discussions. So these are some of the things that you can say and do to participate in the discussion. There are other useful discussion expressions that you can use in your group discussions also. Here are some examples. When you start the discussion, you can say, good morning or good afternoon or welcome everyone. You can say, our job today, ... we are meeting to ... Okay, when you ask for ideas, you can say, what would you suggest? Or can you offer an idea? When you give your suggestions, when you suggest ideas, okay, you can make your idea clear by saying, I believe we should ... It would be good to ... Okay, and when you explain your reason, when you describe the gadget, you can say, this kind of gadget is ... I make this suggestion because ... And when you ask others to respond, you can say, would you agree? Or wouldn't you agree? Okay, or you can even say, any disagreement? When you agree with reasons, you can make your agreement clear by saying, I think ... is a good idea, or I think it is a good suggestion. I like that idea. Okay, and when you explain why, the ... is ... looks ... seems to be ... Or you can say, I like the idea because ... When you ask others to respond, what else can we talk about? Okay. How about another idea? And when you disagree, make your disagreement clear. I'm not sure about the ... I disagree with talking about ... When you explain why, I don't think it's a good idea ... This, the ... is ... but ... Okay, and you can ask other response by saying, don't you think so? Or say, do you know what I mean? So these are some additional expressions that you can use in a group discussion. So what I would like you to do is to practice these different ways of participating in discussions, prepare scripts using different ways to participate, and then read your script aloud to practice. That's today's lesson. I'll see you next time.